let me begin again so we know what we're talking about. Today, we're going to start incorporating literal magic into our practice. And it is very interesting because I was hearing an interview with this guy, Dean, oh, I forget his name. I'll give it to you guys later, but he's an incredible scientist who wrote the book about magic, real magic, I think it's called, actually. And he realized after 50 years of being a scientist, how magic is such an important part, and he calls it magic, of science. And more scientists are opening their hearts and their awareness to something bigger than just the mental part of the human. And he postulates that it's really important that that men that use their brain, and that's how we got out of the Middle Ages, right? With all the inventions and all the things that man has created to advance us, and also to kaput us into the situation that we are in now. But here's the thing, there is science and magic, I believe, are one and the same. Everything is part of it, right? In magic, there's chemistry, there's physics, and in physics, there must be magic if you think as above, so below, and as inside, so outside. And I was looking at an image of the nervous system the other day, and it literally looks like the root system of a tree. And there was a drawing of a tree and the drawing of just the nervous system. And it was so beautiful. And a lot of our cells, a lot of the things that are part of our bodies are replicated in nature, or nature is replicated in us. And when we write things and write our intentions and our affirmations, which if you're writing affirmations and some part of you has a nano doubt about it, thank you, Pico, then that affirmation will never work. Because what it does is like, yeah, let's use that $10,000 a month example, right? So if we're thinking I receive $10,000 a month always, let's say that, simple, right? And a little part of you is saying, no, you're not. No, you're not. What we're doing, the more we affirm that we're getting that $10,000, the stronger our subconscious reaction to it or resistance to it will get. And most likely you'll start experiencing loss of money, things, as opposed to activating that affirmation. That's why I always say I don't believe in affirmations. I create affirmations that I start, well, if I don't believe that, could I believe, I go backwards, right? I reverse engineer the affirmations and I say, well, could I believe that I can have that $10,000 each month? Yes or no? If it's yes, I believe da 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 da. Do I not believe it? Okay, let me go a step backwards. Am I open to the possibility of ever getting that $10,000 a month? Yeah, I'm totally open. Okay, so there I stop and say, I am open to the possibility of having $10,000 a month. And then you build that strength up. And then when you're ready to the next one, you move up again until you can affirm without a shadow of a doubt that you have that $10,000. Maybe it's just not in your account at the moment, but you are having that. okay? And then that removing the doubt is what creates the result. Now the sigils, what happens with the sigils is that the mind loves images. And the silliest the image, like if you get a joke and you see a joke, you remember it so much more than if you read the joke, right? If you see it being acted out, you will remember it so much more than if you just read it and try to remember the words. So that's why when we hear things and we visualize it or we imagine it, then we're able to remember more. And the sillier the visual, the easier it is for you to remember. So for example, if you want to remember somebody's name that you have trouble remembering, like do you have some people that you just like, oh my God, I know this person for so many years and I can never remember their name. Maybe it's a challenging name, whatever. For some reason you can't remember. If you associate that name with someone you already know or something funny, or you make a funny rhyme about it, and then you imagine the face of that person, then every time you see that person, it activates your subconscious mind and you remember that silly rhyme and you'll never forget that name ever again. So those are tricks to activate your memory. But here's the thing. If we're writing the affirmations and we read them, we're really just using our left brain. So what we're going to do with these sigils or symbols is we're going to create out of the letters, we're going to create our own symbol or our own picture that will literally go above or below or around what I call the gatekeeper, which is your reticular activating system that doesn't allow your affirmations to go through because of some programming or some belief. So sometimes we just don't get the stuff because there's a blockage somewhere energetically, or a programming or an imprint that we have that doesn't allow us to break through and actually receive what we're desiring, right? We're pushing it away because there's part of us that believes, well, I can't make more money than my father, or I can't be more successful than my parents, or I can't, like, what is it that we feel that is in the way of us receiving that thing which we desire? So what we do is we create that affirmation, and then we're going to create a symbol out of this affirmation that will go straight to our subconscious mind. And then today we're going to actually destroy our sigil when we're done with it. And we're going to just put it out in the universe, because a lot of the times oh, that's okay. Is he okay? Stasia's dad is in the hospital. Okay, good. I figured something happened, but I didn't believe it was the internet. I figured you had to go. We're good, but you haven't missed much because you know about sigils anyway. So you won't skip a beat. So I'll skip a beat because I don't know where I don't know where I was. Okay, so what we do is we create, oh, okay, yeah, now I know where I was. So a lot of the times we feel like we have to move towards our goal, right? We're chasing, we have a goal that we believe it's out there away from us. And what we do is we try to move closer to our goal. And if we go back to my circle theory, where I believe that we are born into this life with everything that that we can achieve, accomplish, receive, all of our abundance, it comes with us in an orbit. And we're all each in our own path with our little orbit, with our own gifts that we have, that we'll receive, that we can achieve, that we can accomplish, that we can receive. And when we start chasing, then we have a distance between what we where we are and what we desire. So we start chasing that stuff. And the faster we go, the faster that thing will remain its distance from us and just move faster, right? Because there's an electromagnetic field that we have between those things. And when, especially if we're not vibrating at that same frequency, we just start pushing it away and we'll never reach it. It'll be like those greyhounds that they put the stick and the carrot so that they're chasing after the carrot, so they run faster and faster and faster, so they win the races. Well, it's exactly the same thing. We're chasing the carrot. And so if we go back to the quantum physics theory of everything is happening simultaneously, when we have a desire, first of all, I believe in a merciful, all-loving God, and I don't believe that God would want us to desire something that we could never attain. It just would be cruel. And if that's the case, it's a shame, but I choose not to operate from that paradigm. I choose to operate from the paradigm that God is all giving, all loving, and we're here to literally practice and learn, some of us, unconditional love, because we're conditional lovers, all of us. And so the more we progress in our journey, the more we understand what unconditional love is, which is loving without expecting anything in return. Instead of, if you do this, I will love you. If you don't do this, I will remove my love. So no matter what happens, we're able to love everyone. And that's a really big statement, because, you know, if somebody does you wrong, you might forgive them, you might love them, and you can still love them. But if somebody goes and kills somebody from your family, it just becomes a lot harder, right? It depends on the action. And then it's just a much more challenging thing to say, well, I will love you unconditionally, regardless of how you're behaving. That's a toughie. So as we understand that everything is happening simultaneously, and if we believe that everything that we desire is already looking for us as well, it's trying to match up with us, then what we do is we stand still, and then that thing will go around the orbit and it'll hit us in the face. It'll come to us. So basically, it's easier to pull things towards us instead of chasing them, because when we chase them, we're pushing them away. But if we pull them to us, are you feeling the truth bumps? It's like, it's such a different feeling. Imagine that money just coming to you, as opposed to you running after it and exhausting yourself for it. What is it that you're chasing? Health. Okay, are you chasing a fit body? Are you chasing spirituality? Are you chasing God? Are you chasing a better job? Are you what are you chasing in your life? That if you would just stand still and connect to your magical, mystical self, would just come to you. And it doesn't mean not taking action, but it means taking the divinely inspired action that needs to be taken. And a lot of the times what happens is that because we're so trained and imprinted to become doers, because the powers that be love to have their little ants working for them. So we were trained to sit still and be quiet and not ask questions and know the answers, instead of exploring new questions for things. Like if you ask too many, like I would get chastised in school for asking too many questions. It was like, okay, shut up. Shut up with your questions. Give me the answers, right? Go ahead, Stacia.
That was me too. I would ask way too many questions and then I would be in trouble. And I'm like, I just want to know.
Mm-hmm. Right. Even with me, like I would get chastised for something, It's like, if you tell me why and the meaning behind it, and I just want to be clear, I can jump on board and say, okay, I'm good. But when people say, just because I say so, it creates a visceral, violent reaction in my body that is like, and the dragon in me just comes out. It's like, no, you're not the boss of me. So then what happens is that instead of people having me align, because I'm so flexible, I could just align with just about anything. And apparently with my open centers and human design, it is so easy for me to just go, oh, I see your point of view. I can align with that. I can support you in that. So basically, if somebody just gives me an explanation of what's going on, I'll be like, oh, okay, I'm good with this. Let's run with it. But when people just impose their rules, even if they're the best thing for me, it won't matter. My visceral reaction is like, no, I will not do it, even if it kills me. It probably will, but I will not align with that because you are not the boss of me, right? So what are we doing to our desires that our desires are going, you are not the boss of me. I am not coming to you until you align or bring me into alignment with you so that I can be of support to you and be your next step in your development. Like if those $10,000 aren't showing up, why are they not showing up? Are we being Pepe Le Pew? Here am I, and the $1,000 just leaving from everywhere, like, ah, get away from me. Are we being sticky and gross? Right? Because we desire it so much. And we just can't stop thinking about it and how good it would be. And if it got here, and then look at how many people have a lot of money and their thing is, I'm not happy. I thought the money would make me happy. Or people who have, who are generationally wealthy and have so many issues and troubles because it has nothing to do with the money, right? It has everything to do with how we are inside and how we are aligning to our true nature. So two things are really important. How many times have you sat down and decided, okay, $10,000 is the figure that most people, I'm talking the night about this. Yes. You don't want to be Pepe Le Pew. Yes, we don't want to be Pepe Le Pew. Remember those kids when you were in like elementary, middle school, even high school, the guy that wanted to date you so desperately and you were like, ew, get away from me. And then we're going after the guy who just is so aloof, just ignores us. The one that's bringing you flowers and chocolates and telling you how beautiful you are. You're like, stop it. I don't like you. I like the one that is after all the other girls, or the bad boy, or the one that doesn't care about me, that gives me a little crumb. And then I'm like lapping it up. And then it's like, oh my God, maybe one day he'll pay attention to me. Right? Oh, thank you. Which one? The horse? That one? ¿Ese de quién es?
Chucho Reyes.
No, el de allá.
Osejo.
Oh, that's a Garcia Osejo. This is my mom's stuff. I'll show you my mom's paintings. That's my mom's. Those are my mom's. That's my mom's. Oh, that's my mom's. That one, oh, see that one? That one matches the artwork on the wall. She painted the whatever it's called, the nude figure, to match the painting on the wall. I don't know if you guys can see it. Anyway, so when we are chasing, that energy is like, yeah. And if we're just obsessed about something, sometimes it creates the exact opposite effect, because there's a resistance there. Like for many, many years, until it became so clear what was happening to me. It's like, I couldn't break the $100,000 a year mark. It was just like, I would get to $98,000. And I was like, ah, okay, next year I'm breaking it. And next year I went like 90. I was like, okay, well, this is going in the opposite direction. And it just creates this resistance. Why? Because I realized I didn't want to outshine my dad. It was like, I can't do better than my dad because it would make him lose face, or whatever it is that I have imprinted. Plus, it's probably not even true, right? But the society I grew up in, the thing, it's like men are supposed to be the be all and end all, and women are supposed to be behind them. And the saying of behind every great man is an amazing woman, and all this bullshit crap that we get fed, that we believe, then we carry it out, and we're repeating the same stupidity generation after generation, right? So a lot of the times we don't even know what's stopping us from getting it. But then instead of calming down and just allowing that to melt away with in other ways, we're just focused on what we want, and that thing keeps like getting stronger. So then we want it more, and then that thing gets stronger, and it wanted more, and then it's like, oh my God, and it creates the exact opposite effect. You start, your car breaks down, this happens, you stop working, you get sick and you can't go to work, all these things begin to happen because there's something in there that's like, oh, it's getting dangerously close to something that you're not supposed to be around. The other thing that happens is you begin to have success, and it happens. Like I had this 1 month here in Mexico, my first time I ever, years ago, that I earned $10,000 in a month. And I was like, yeah, I broke it, oh my God. Then the next month I was like 3,000. I was like, what the heck happened? It was so hard to get to that point again, because there's that fear. It's like, oh my God, this is the unknown. Are you going to be able to handle it? Or all these subconscious imprints that come in that create all this stress. And then that thing will go away because it wants you to feel safe. And if you don't feel safe with it, it also doesn't want to be in your awareness because it doesn't want you feeling uncomfortable. And because we're creatures of comfort, we're always searching comfort, our comfort zone. It gets very, it's like when you're in your comfort zone, it's very difficult. You have to really train yourself to break yourself out of it and put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Because then that uncomfortability starts to become familiar, and then you grow your comfort zone. But in order to grow it, you have to be uncomfortable. So if we begin to look at life as, okay, I'm gonna make it so that I get uncomfortable, and you look for that discomfort on your own, then you'll start growing yourself, and then it'll be a more manageable thing, as opposed to just getting hit by the universe with stuff to make you uncomfortable if you've been in a comfort zone for too long. So start thinking, and write this down, start thinking of what could I look for to be uncomfortable with, that if I were uncomfortable with it long enough, would become the new comfortable for me. I know it sounds like a tongue twister, right? What could I find to be uncomfortable with, that if I sat in it for long enough, it would become my new comfortable? What can I do to make myself feel uncomfortable? Like, for example, with you, Julia, that the example that comes to mind is, I have two examples, but I'll use my second example, not the first one, because the first one could like throw you for a loop right now, and you're not in a good place for me to do that to you. But let's say the food prep thing, right? It comes natural to you. Like, you can plan your food for a week, bring it, you can handle it. Okay, let's say you quit one of your jobs that has a thing just to have more foot care clients that pay you more money. You could bring in so much more money than that salary, but that salary is something you count on every week, and that gives you safety, makes you feel safe, right? They could any day just tell you, oh, bye, we don't need you anymore. And you'd be like, ah, right? But we feel like that won't happen because we feel safe in an environment where somebody else is responsible for giving you a check every 2 weeks or however many times a month, right? Or every week, however they pay you, right? But I've seen you on times when you haven't gone to that job because you were not on the schedule, and you took on foot care clients, and your hourly rate almost doubled, right? So what if you just did that, and you would immediately double your income? But that's a scary thought, right? And she had a more pleasant experience doing it. Absolutely, she loves it. The people love you, and you love them. You have a natural gift when you're helping these people. So basically, you would, right, but you would lose your benefits. But what if you made so much money that you would have the benefits that wouldn't even be part of it? What if you had one job that gave you the benefits, right? And then instead of 2 jobs here and 1 job there, and then that, like, what if you were able to get it to the minimum so you could keep your benefits and then just double your hourly rate for the rest of the time with your foot care clients, right? So what options? Okay, here's another question to write. What options have I not considered that if I open myself to them would create an deluge of abundance into my life? You can also buy insurance. Yeah, exactly. What if you had much more money to buy your own insurance and not have to worry about somebody giving you benefits? What if you say, I'm having this? What if you decide to become an entrepreneur in the full sense of it, where you are a businesswoman, right? And what if you trained people to do footwork, and then they work for you, and then you start sending them, and everyone that goes out there, you get a cut of it, and you manage their schedule and you do the thing? What if you became like the queen of the foot care? How many more people could you help? And if you train the people to do it your way and create a system, what would that look like for you? Right? Now, would that be something you enjoy? I don't know. You may not. It's not necessarily what I think should happen. I'm just talking I'm just like in the moment, this is what comes. But there's so many possibilities there that and the question is, okay, how could I let go of the idea of safety and security? How can I let go of the idea of safety and security that, if I did, would create magic and miracles in my life? A lot of the times we think that there's only one way of doing things. And it's based on our programming. What if you were making so much money that people would want to give you money? See? Because you're just like, I need job security so that I can get a credit, so I can own my house. What if there was a different way? What if you could pay cash for your house? Can you hold that in your awareness and not want to vomit? Could that be a possibility? I'm telling you, I am a good idea person. You do your videos of meal prep. Yeah, it's been ingrained. We've been programmed to feel like we have to have a job and go to work for somebody else and get how many employees go and take clips and take the pens and take the staplers and the staples home from there? That would be a lot of feet to buy. Yeah, but what if you had helpers? See, because we think we have to do it all ourselves. There's so many kids that are making millions. You know what NFTs are? They're doing digital art and selling them at auction for millions of dollars. I guess you could put it as a screen on your phone or something like that, and people pay millions of dollars for a whatever screensaver. And people have money to do that. There is so much money on this planet. Okay, there is so much money on this planet. And the kids who haven't been told that there isn't enough are making millions. I know an 8-year-old boy that started designing t-shirts. He's now hired his parents to help with the packaging, with the shipping, the accounting. Okay, and he's a freaking millionaire. He's the boss of his parents. He started at 8 years old designing t-shirts for skateboarders. Okay, kids haven't been told, like our generation and the previous generations, you have to go to work, you have to go from 9 to 5 and sit and heat up a seat. You know, the productivity, the most amount of hours of productivity that any person on the planet that works has per day. The most successful CEO at this does 3 hours a day of focusing and actually being productive. Basically, if you went to work for 4 hours, you can accomplish the same as you accomplish in 8 hours. The thing is, we think we have 8 hours to do this. So it takes us 8 hours. But if we go for 4 hours and you just have 4 hours, you'll sure be done in 4 hours. And if you do it in 2, you'll do it in 2. When I started teaching speed reading, we would go the entire day. People would get there at 8 or 9, and we'd leave at 4 o'clock, and we'd have an hour for lunch. Now I teach a speed reading class in 4 hours, and I've taught it in 3 hours and gotten the same results. Okay. Somebody gave me 4 hours. Can you do it in 4 hours? Yes. Yes, I can. And then one time she made a mistake. She gave me 3 hours instead of 4. And I'm like, holy crap. And I did it in 3 hours. And still got the same result as when I was doing it in 8 hours a day. Okay. How many times do you go to work and you're just, like they say, shooting the breeze and just like doing nothing, wasting your time? Because we've been programmed, you have to go there, and the pandemic has created a complete paradigm shift for so many people on this planet. People who would refuse to allow their employees to work from home. No, we have to be present. You have to be here from this time to this time, and otherwise it doesn't work. And now they're like, holy cow, I'm getting more out of my employees. I don't have to pay overhead. I pay them for their internet, and that just cuts my cost by a bajillion. Right? And everybody's happier. It's like, oh, wow, I never considered that. But it took a crazy event that affected the entire world for that to happen. And it created a massive paradigm shift. These 2 years have sprouted so much creativity. It's like when we look back at these 2 years, if we survive them, we'll be able to look at how much good came out of it. Okay. And so what are we holding on to that we think is right and correct and the only way to do things, that if we just let go of it all, would allow magic and new ways of doing things to flow into my life? Right? We hold on to it. Has to be like this. What if everything you thought has to be like so? You made a choice to question everything. What if it didn't have to be that way? What if there's another possibility? What if there's something I haven't seen? Because okay, so we have this vision, right? And we have the things that we know, right? We know that 2 + 2 is 4. We know that. We know that we know how to add, how to subtract, how to multiply. We know that we know it. Then there's the things that we know that we don't know. Like, I don't know nuclear physics, right? I don't know astrology in depth. But I know that there's things out there that I don't know, but I know I'm aware of their existence. Okay. But there are the things that we don't know that we don't know. And those opportunities are in our blind spot. Right? That's why we get coaches. So I can go, oh, there's your monkey on your back. And then you're like, oh, there's your monkey on your back. I can't see the monkey on my back because when I turn, that monkey just like, it's always behind me and I can't see my monkey. Right? So what if there's something that we don't know, that if we knew it would change everything for us? So just thinking of those things creates a different awareness and starts opening the door to new possibilities to flow into our life. Okay, so every time you decide that there's one way of doing something, change it up. Easy things to start doing. Start brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand. If you're a righty, use your left hand. If you're a lefty, use your right hand. Every time you go to the supermarket and you take the same road, or to your parents' home, or to your wherever you go all the time, to your coffee or to the park, take a different way to get there. Take a different pathway. Okay, those are two really practical things to start looking at things differently. Instead of just getting in your car and going on automatic and then getting there and not knowing how you got there. ¿Todo bien?
Sí.
So that's part of it, okay? So now we're gonna go and we're going to create this sigil that will start magnetizing something to us, because it's gonna go straight to our subconscious mind. Instead of us trying to rationalize our desire, we're going to pull it towards us. And it's so easy to create. For example, for my mom, I'm gonna create one for my mom, because my mom's having knee surgery on the 10th of January. So I'm just going to say a simple sentence. I am healthy. Easy, right? So I write it. I am healthy. Okay, I am healthy. So I have my sentence. Then I'm going to get rid of the vowels and any repeated consonants. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of the A, the E, the A, and then one H, right? Because I have two H's. Then I'm gonna bring my letters here. I, M, H, L, T, Y. So those are my letters I have to work with to create my sigil. Right? I get rid of the vowels and any repeated consonants. Okay? So I'm gonna start with my I, and I just start going into my free flow brain and just decide how to do this. I am actually going to start with the M. And then come here and do a T. And then a Y. So I start just literally doing stuff like that, right? I bring my thing, then I created my T, then I created my Y. Then I'm going to create my H. So when I do this, I have my H here with these two strokes. And then I realize, well, the L is here too, okay? So I have my I, my M, my H, my L, my T, and my Y. I'm done. So this would be my sigil. That's it. And you can do it any which way you want. So choose a sentence that is in the present. I am, I have, or like I'll do one. Something that is really not specific, but it evokes a feeling of bliss in me, is I am successful, or I am success, right? If you connect to a word that you love? What is it? Does it create a feeling in you? Right? So we're going to charge these sigils in a moment, but if it evokes an emotion in you, it also helps because it just like skips your left brain and your rationality. It just feels good. So for me, the word success means so many things, but they all feel good to me, right? So I would say I am success. And I'm left with very little letters, so. Literally, I am left with I, M, S, and C, because these are all repeated letters. So I like the M, so again, I'm gonna start with my M. And then I'm gonna go to my C and my S and my I. So this would be a sigil, as simple as that. Right? Or I could do something like S. Like that. Lovely. Beautiful. I don't see your W. Where's the W? Oh, in there. Upside down from the M. Nice. Cool. ¿Qué necesitan? ¿También? Okay. So have you all picked your sentence? You good, Sarah? Awesome. Now, this can seem so silly, but if you really connect to what you're writing in your sigil and making your little design, it actually creates an emotional response. Like I have the truth bumps all over me. I'm like, oh, this feels good, right? And so when you connect to something like that, it's just very easy then to go ahead and charge it. And then we're going to release it into the universe, right? So that we're going to send it out so that it comes to us, as opposed to us doing so much work and chasing. Because what chasing does is it just exhausts us with little to no return, little to no results. And it's just exhausting and stressful. And what happens when we do things like these is we're giving our subconscious mind the directive, a very clear intention of what we'd like to have and feel and receive. And then we just surrender and become a vessel of allowance. Hold on. ¿Me cierran las puertas de la cocina, porfis, Juanita? Okay. Craziness at my household. My parents were leaving to their swim therapy. It's just so nuts. I think my mom left her bag, but never mind. They'll be back. So it's just so crazy. So we become a vessel and we give in to the universe. And then when we do our meditation and our centering, we begin to magnetize this eye of this hurricane that we are. When we are in, I don't want to call it control, but in our center and grounded, and start expanding that eye, which is our comfort zone, right? We start expanding that eye. It starts to include so much stuff in our lives. And if we make it a purpose to just enjoy everything that we have in the moment, then our lives begin to become so rich. Because we spend more time in the now, which is where our point of power is. We spend more time in the enjoyment of things, as opposed to in the chasing or in the feeling of lack and desire, right? Because there's a very big difference between feeling satisfied with what you have, but knowing that you're ever expanding. So there's no stagnation, there's no complacency in this feeling at all. It's not about being like, well, I'm happy with what I have. No, if you're not growing, you're dying. So if you're not expanding, you're contracting. There's no, like people who say, I want perfect balance in my life. Well, good luck with that. Because it's so ephemeral and fleeting. The moments we can have everything, all the plates up at the same time going and everything's perfect, those moments are so rare because there's always some crisis going on, somebody exposing us to COVID, like life throws curveballs at us continuously. Right? And we think, my mom always says there's no complete happiness. I believe that there is, but there's no complete balance, continuous, complete balance. You can get things to be in a place and you're like, oh, this is great. And then you have a problem with your partner, or you have an argument with your parents, or you have a this, or this happens, or it's like, there's always something that doesn't allow us to be in perfect balance all the time. So if we're looking for balance, we're always going to be unhappy. And if we're always chasing the money, we're always going to be unhappy. Right? But what if we just open ourselves to it and know that it's not about holding on to it, but allowing ourselves to be the vessel of it? And then if we focus on what we want to do with that money, for example, or if we want the health, what are we going to do when we're healthy? If we want to be fit, how is it going to translate into our everyday life that will bring joy to us? So if we go to the ultimate thing that creates that joy, then the universe will start delivering on it in the most magical, unexpected ways, because we're not focusing on how the universe is going to deliver. Because if we do that, then our possibilities go whoop, because we're so imprinted and programmed to think that there's only one way of doing things. And that's why we have disagreements with other people who think differently from us, because they're looking at things from another vantage point. Beautiful. Beautiful. Love it. Okay, so if we're just caught up in one way of doing things, like, okay, so something that could be very silly, but it's really important in my life, right? My entire life, and my mom, oh, cool, let me see it, Sarah. Oh, in the group chat on Facebook? On Facebook? In the group chat on Facebook? Let me see, Stacia. Oh, okay. Oh, cute. I am creative. Yeah, well, you are. Okay, Stacia, I'm gonna help you with yours. Do you believe with me that you're creative?
Yes, actually, it's my phrase for next year. Creatively, I'm creatively creating desired abundance.
Exactly. Okay. So I oh, can Julia see it? She's gonna create a new one because that's not
Yeah,
what that's
yeah.
not her sigil.
Oh, no, I just,
No, your
yeah.
phrase is maybe I express my creativity fully.
Oh, I didn't know we were doing such big phrases.
It doesn't, yeah, you can just, as long as it says exactly what you want.
Okay.
Because you are creative.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're creative, but you're not expressing it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Right? So you're just supporting, yeah, I'm creative. Okay. Me neither. I almost combined mine. Let me see what yours is, Sarah, or write it in the chat. Because when we put the activity in it, it's like, you know, you are creative, right? Does that make sense? Yes. Exactly. Beautiful. Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect. So let me go to the Facebook thing. Hold on. Let me see if I can do this. I did the same thing. I kept the vowel in I am. So it's MHLTY. So no I. Because it is a vowel. Duh. I love, Sarah, the success one with the little stars. That's another thing that you can add. It's beautiful. And you can add your little, like you can add little Y's over here. And then you do your little stars or your little moons, whatever you want to do, and just add to your design. I love that one, Sarah. And that, when you allow yourself to free flow with your, no, we don't keep the I. I made a mistake. I don't know my vowels from my consonants in English or Spanish. Duh. So when we allow ourselves to free, yes, and I show you the eye, it's like, there's my eye. So if you make it like you allow it to flow, like that S that came out, it's so pretty. And then it imprints your subconscious, okay? So then as you finish you have your sigils, but as Stacia finishes, I'm going to go get Harry because I forgot him in my bedroom. Because we're going to now charge these sigils with our intention, our love, and our sound. Because see, normally people charge their sigils with their intention, but we're adding sound to this. So we're literally taking this to an exponential level before we burn our sigils. Now, a lot of people etch their sigils on candles and then they burn a candle. So maybe for our new moon ceremony, I'll ask you to bring a candle and we'll etch a sigil into our candle and then we're leaving it, we'll let it consume. That would be nice, right? I just thought of it and I'm like, ooh, that would be fun. So we'll create our sigil, we'll etch it into our candle and then we'll let it burn. What are you eating? Is that your little thingy? Yes, it is. So Pico was sick throughout Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and Boxing Day. He was kind of choking and there were no doctors available. So we just kind of went through it with the Healy. And he was fine after 2 days, but I think he had maybe a piece of bully stick in his throat or somewhere in his trachea, and he was just like all over the place. He sounded like a cat spitting a hairball. It was not fun. My mom was freaking out that I didn't rush to emergency and stuff, and I'm like, they can't do anything. I just fed him a lot of like mashed potatoes and mashed sweet potatoes, so that it could help him just move it through. And so it did. He did eat my crochet hook. Were you guys on when that happened? My wooden crochet hook, size 9. That took me 3 weeks to locate on Amazon and get it delivered to Mexico. I needed a size 9 for my daughter's blanket that I'm wanting to knit, that apparently I'm never gonna finish because he ate the crochet hook. I had to get a set of 12 hooks because they don't sell Tunisian crochet hooks in Mexico anymore because nobody knows how to do Tunisian crochet. Because of course I can't just pick regular crochet. I have to pick the obscure version of crochet because that's just how I roll. And so he ate my crochet hook. And all of a sudden it was just like frayed, like, so first of all, I was freaking out that he ate wood and splinters because I've had a dog die on me because she ate a stick and a splinter pierced her intestines. So yeah, it was fun going through that. It just brought me back the memories of the dog just not making it in the operating table. But I was like, and my dad's like, well, you're giving him mixed signals because you give him a bully stick and then he sees a crochet hook and it looks like a bully stick. Okay, Dad, it's my fault. Don't worry. It's like, okay. Whatever. It has a plastic tube attached to it. And it has yarn on it. So I don't know how he could have mistaken that for a bully stick, but okay. Only because they're both brown. Anyway, how are you doing, Stacia? You're done? Okay.
It's a lot of letters,
I know.
but I'm putting them like on into each other. So I'm getting creative. I'm like, oh, I could make this into this and this into this, so that I'm compacting it. As you're talking, Pico, stop eating things.
No, that's his bully stick.
Oh, sorry.
That is his bully stick. It's what's left of it. I should give it. It is. This is what's left of it. It's gross. I think I'm gonna give him a new one. I am going to give him a new one. That's gross. All sticky and gooey. Beautiful. Yes, I love that. Wonderful. So you're gonna get your sigils now. And while we give Stacia a moment to finish hers, you're going to, first of all, you're gonna close your eyes. You're gonna bring your thinking, remember that dot, into your heart center. Then you're gonna connect your power center. You're gonna bring that dot from your power center into your heart. We're doing it backwards. Instead of bringing our power center down, like our love and our mind into our power center, we're actually going to bring our power center and the feeling of power into our heart. All right, so when you feel that, then allow that energy to start flowing through your arms. You're gonna channel it through your arms. You're going to allow your hands, you start feeling them, go like this, and you start feeling that energy between your hands. And as you move them apart and closer, you feel that it starts to get really thick. You feel that ether, you're actually compressing it. It's almost like the magnifying glass when you put it out in the sun and you burn the paper. We're actually going to compress that energy like a laser in our hands. So close your eyes and really focus, bring it into your heart center, your power into your heart. Feel it growing. I get the truth bumps immediately. I'm feeling like zzz, vibrating. And now go ahead. This one. And place your hands over your sigil. And then allow the sound to infuse it. Now go ahead and connect to your crown. Feel it opening. Allow yourself to go up, 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 up to the 0 point where that white golden light resides. Absolute peace, absolute bliss. And allow that to pour in through your crown and to your heart. And once again, channel that energy through your hands onto your sigil with no attachment for any results whatsoever. Just infusing it with love, peace, and bliss. When you're ready, we're going to go ahead and close the circuit by bringing your left hand first and then your right hand over your heart center. And imagining that there's an infinite shape getting created through your arms, connecting at your heart center, receiving from your left, receiving on the right. So you're going like this, like that, moving that energy in the shape of the infinite, where that center, where the both loops cross is right on your heart. Take 3 cleansing breaths. Ooh. Very good. Now you're going to go ahead and burn your sigil. The best way to transmute it, to let it go, it's just gonna. And you all have a yard, so you can all dispose of your ashes outside, put it on a plant that you love or something. Just it'll be, you don't want to get rid of your sigil. I know, it's working with that attachment. You can also, if you are very attached to it, you can also get a favorite book. Yeah, you can take a photo of it, and you can copy it. Like, I have to burn it. See, how we do anything is how we do everything. Where are we attaching ourselves to something that we feel that if we lose it, we're going to lose something that we love or that is a part of us. And so it's like the pearl necklace story. Do you all remember that pearl necklace story? It's like you're holding on to the fake pearls, and they're like we're walking around with garbage bags. And it's like, well, the universe wants to give me, but I'm too busy holding on to the garbage. It's like, okay, how about if I let it go? Now that I've created this sigil, it's there forever, right? It's just might not be in your physical presence, but it's there forever. It's already been created. So if you're having issues letting it go, we can slowly work to it. Exactly. It's imprinted in your subconscious. That's the whole thing. We're looking at it, allow it to be in your subconscious. And now your reticular activating system has been activated. Now it's going to look for anything that resembles anything close to what your sigil is. But if you don't want to let go, if you are familiar, if you have a Bible, for example, and there's a psalm that you relate to, I think Psalm 23, for some reason, I'm getting told Psalm 23. I have no idea why. I cannot remember what Psalm 23 is about. No idea. I'm just hearing Psalm 23. You can stick it. I don't even have my Bible here. I have a Bible, but in Philadelphia. Do you have a Bible, Stacia? Okay. My encyclopedia. Thank you very much.
Psalm 23 is the one about the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, and all that. Well, I'm like, I finally put 12 letters, Hannah, 12 letters
Oh, how
together.
beautiful.
And I'm like, she wants me to burn this?
Put it in Psalm
12 letters together.
23. Come here. Me long enough. Yes, put it in Psalm 23. I shall not want. What is this? I still, my mind gets blown every time. I just heard Psalm 23 in my head. I'm like, okay, let's put it there. I shall not want. I shall not desire. What is your desire to hold on to your sigil? I know. It doesn't matter. Put it in Psalm 23 and those words from that Psalm are going to be working on you and you'll be able to notice where else in your life are you holding on to what you think is the way. What if God is trying to show us a different way and we're so caught up in the way things are, the way things have always been, in tradition, in what do you call those things that come from get passed down from generation to generation, that you do a thing a certain way, you celebrate, this is my family's legacy, and we do Christmas like this, or we do this like that, or we celebrate like that, or we do business like that, or we believe that we have to work a job from 9 to 5, and if we dare to break out of the mold, we're the black sheep because we're looking at things a different way. What if we're all meant to be black sheep and do things in unexpected ways, right? It's so easy to just decide this is how we're going to do things. Okay. Like it's so crazy that I find it so crazy that I'm here, but every time I come to Mexico, there's a surge of creativity that flows through me. Of course, I'm really happy because this is what I get. I'm getting like 70-degree weather, which for me is like perfection. I couldn't ask for more. Like 72 degrees is for me heaven. Like it's not cold, it's not hot, it's just beautiful, right? And there's sun and blue sky, even when there's so much pollution here. And the other day I went out and my eyes were burning because the pollution here is insane. And that's why I left in the first place, like 30, however many years ago. I'm like, holy cow. I left 33 years ago because I couldn't take the pollution. I'm like, I call them cockroaches. Like they adapt to DDT. It's like, yeah, okay, give me more poison, we're good. Incredible. But most of the days have been blue skies, sunshine. It's not even cold at this time. It should be getting very cold in the mornings and at night. Hasn't. I'm just being showered I just feel that I'm being showered with love by the universe. Like I went through such a nightmarish time with my house and it's selling and not selling and the boxes and the whole thing. And I'm just like, I'm just taking a breath and I'm just being happy. I got my doctor figured out that what I had was a vitamin E deficiency. He's like, you'll be done in 3 weeks. My skin is already feeling not so dry. I'm in a much better mood. I feel like I'm in myself again because I was not myself. I've released about at least 6 pounds in 2 weeks. Like literally, I thought I would never lose I've never gained weight in my stomach before, ever. Like all my weight is in my I call my thunder thighs, right? It's like all the weight goes to my thighs and my butt. But my stomach was always flat. And this time my stomach just went whang, 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 and I was horrified because I've never felt that before. And I felt uncomfortable. I just didn't feel myself. And now literally my stomach, I haven't even worked out and my stomach is like leaving. And I'm like, yes. And I found this nutritionist who gave me, because I said, look, you want me to eat all day. And that's, I said, I've had days where it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm like, oh shit, I need to eat breakfast. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yes. I had not had breakfast at the same time for more than 2 days in a row ever. The most I've managed to have breakfast at the same time is 2 days in a row. I go, third day, plans get squashed. It just doesn't work for me. That's not who I am. So she gave me this thing. It's like, okay, this is how much protein you need to eat. And she showed me she has these little disgusting, by the way, plastic things of food, like toys, right? And it's like, she has one fried egg and it's like this rubber fried egg and the lettuce and the thing. And she like brings out the veggies. And so she visually, because I'm really visual, she's like, okay, in the morning, you can have one egg, you can have this much meat at lunch, and then you can have another protein. So it's like 5 proteins, 3 grains. Like I can have 3 tortillas a day, like 3 tortillas a day. That's perfect. Like for me, that's more than enough. I can also have some cheese, like it's a mozzarella type. It's called Oaxaca, which is like a string cheese, which doesn't have a lot of fat, but I can make myself a quesadilla. If I have a quesadilla for dinner, I'm happy. I don't need anything else, right? So she's just told me, look, if you have more protein during the day, then don't have the protein at night. And if you don't have the protein in the morning, you can have it at lunch, or you can split it you can split it any which way you want, as long as you have 3 fruits, 3 this, 5 proteins, whatever. So she gave me this thing and I'm like, she goes, you can mix and match however you want. And I'm like, that works for me. And it's been so easy for me to follow it. Now I just have it in my head. She goes, you can just put the little emojis and start taking them out. And then at the end of the day, you'll see what you haven't eaten. I just keep it all in my head. And I'm like, I know basically the proteins, I keep track. And I know I can only have 3 starches. Like I can have a sweet potato, or I can have a little bit of rice, or I can even have a little bit of pasta if I feel like it, which I don't eat a lot of pasta. But if I have 3 tortillas a day, or I can have 1 tortilla, 1 rice, 1 thing, whatever. It's just given me the flexibility of eating. And now I'm eating a lot more than I was. And my body's like, oh, thank God, because you were starving. Because I would just go through days. All of a sudden I'd be like, shit, when was the last time I ate? And it was like yesterday I had lunch. And then I forgot dinner. Then I forgot breakfast. Then I forgot lunch. Then it's like dinner time. And I'm like, oh, I think I better eat. Because when I'm by myself, I just don't, I'm doing stuff and I'm like, I just ignore the food part of it. Here, they've made me just like, first of all, I have time. I'm not rushing around. I'm getting taken care of by my mom. She serves the food at specific hours because my dad's diabetic. So he needs to eat at his time. And it's like all about food here because my dad, every 4 hours, he needs to be eating. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm on board with that now. I'll eat. I keep eating. And some of the days I haven't even been able to eat the whole thing that this woman gave me because it's just like, oh my God, I can't eat it. It's like, it's too much for me. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll make an effort. Last night I was going to go to bed without dinner. And I'm like, I haven't had my protein. Let me go ahead and, because I had vegetables all day. It's like, let me have a piece of steak. And I had a steak. And I had, I made myself a Greek salad. I was very happy, right? And so I'm like, okay. And then like made myself. But sometimes we have to do stuff that makes us uncomfortable to receive what we actually want. Because see, if my theory of starving myself would work, I wouldn't be holding on to all this weight, right? Now, how counterintuitive is it that you have to eat more to release the weight, right? In theory, you have to eat less so that your body releases. Well, no, your body's now holding on to all these fat reserves so that it can prolong your life because it feels like it's starving and it's in peril of dying. So the things that we're going to be asked, that are going to be asked of us, especially in this coming year, is to let go of our ideas that we have about how things are and should be. Because most of them, most of the success and all the things that we desire are attainable for us, because otherwise we wouldn't be imagining them. But the way to get them is counterintuitive to what we know to be true. If you literally just go on that principle of you have to eat more to release the weight, if you go to the money thing, what if we had to give more to get more instead of waiting to have more to give more? What if we did it the other way around? What if we gave fearlessly? What would it take for us to give more fearlessly? Knowing that there's an endless supply for us. Because we don't believe that. We believe that the money we have is finite. And what if there's an endless supply? And all we got to do is tap into the pipeline of the supply. Right? There's a visual, and I think I heard it from Louise Hay many years ago, about like that there's an endless supply of water in the ocean, right? And then there's people that go with a little cup and get their little cup, and people go with a bucket and get a bucket, and then there's a guy that connects a hose and just brings it over to his house, and he has a continuous source of water because he just worked to create a pipeline, and he created a water pipeline to feed into his home, and he just opens the tap and you get water. So what if money was that way? What if money was an ocean? What if health was an ocean? What if fitness was an ocean? And all we have to do is tap into that energy. Well, I think you have your work cut out for you. And if you're able to burn your sigil, go ahead. If not, put it in Psalm 23 and allow that energy to work on you. And I love you all very much. I wish you a very wonderful new year. And we don't go by years, we go by lunar cycles. So I haven't even looked at the schedule. I don't even know when the new moon is next. I have it in my laptop, but I don't know. Let me see. It's soon.
I think it's the 6th or 7th.
Yeah, I think it's the Three Kings Day. It actually goes with the Three Kings Day. So if you'd like, you can have a candle. You can get a white candle, a pink candle, whatever calls you. Maybe it's yellow, who knows? But go, you know where you can get candles that are cheap, like the dollars. Do you guys have dollar stores over there in Canada? You do? Okay. So get a cheapy candle. It doesn't have to be a fancy candle, because we're gonna just like, we don't want to use it. Well, maybe we do want to use a $30 candle and etch on it. but whatever calls you. And we're going to etch our new sigil on it. Okay. And yeah, how exciting is this to bring this into our lives? I am excited beyond words because I know we're getting called to expand, to receive more, to give more. Think of what you like. If you had $1 million, what would you do with it? Because I know all of you would be doing stuff for other people, right? So tap into that energy and start doing those things that give you that feeling before you have $1 million to share. Even if it's just giving a smile to someone, right? Giving an extra tip to someone. If you're going to give somebody $1, give them 2, give them 5. Go to the restaurant and leave a, like, get coffee and leave a $20 bill for tip. Like, what would it feel like to get a coffee for $3 or $5 or $10 if it's Starbucks, and then leave a $20 tip? How would that make you feel? Right? Because it makes you feel rich and abundant. So what would it take for you to let go of that and not think, oh my God, it's half a tank of gas, or it's this for the kids? Or what would it take for you to know that there's an unlimited supply where that came from? And trust and believe. Because we're going to be working on our belief. Noelle just texted me saying Noelle has a new cat that her husband gave her as a Christmas present. Noelle has been sick with a bug. She's been throwing up for days, and her husband got sick first, or Emerson got sick, then Alex, then Noelle, whatever. So she was sick all day in a bad way. And right now she's like, I just went to the bathroom, and when I came out, Emerson gave all of his eggs to Nickel, the cat, and lied about it and said he ate them. She's like, he's in big trouble now. So we're already starting. I'm like, they didn't have eggs. I'm sure Alex went to get eggs for them. So now, because he wanted eggs, and now he fed them to the cat. So, oh, the joys of motherhood. All right, then that's what it takes having a boy. It's so different than having a girl, let me tell you. Boys are another breed. They're different completely. I'm learning that. And I thank God that he gave me she gave me a girl, because I don't know. Although I do or did have 2 stepsons, but they were very, very calm compared to what I see now. They're like really, really low key. But anyway, I love you all. I will see you on the 1st. Yeah, 1/1. Yay! And yeah, that day we're actually going to do a meditation. Now, here's the thing, and here's an offer. It is said that the first 12 days of the year correspond to each month of the year. So, well, I wanted to ask you about what time is better for you guys. If you were partying, I'm sure early in the morning is not going to work. So I don't know if you wanted to do it later in the evening or in the afternoon. I'm open all day. So I'm as of 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon onwards, I'm fine, because it's 1 for us. So as of 1 o'clock my time, I'm fine. So let me know what works for you guys, and we'll do it. Also, if you all want, I was going to commit to getting up at 6 in the morning, which is 7 your time, every day for 12 days. Let's not do a 30-day crazy. thing and just meditate together for 20 minutes and just go straight into the meditation and just do a sit. And we can do 20, 30. We can even do an hour if you feel like it. I'm open to an hour doing a sit and just receiving, getting our antenna tuned to receiving, to connecting to that frequency and like that radio station that we need to be aligned with so that we can start getting that divine guidance flowing into our lives. Okay, good. We're good then. From the first, we're going to start our first meditation. And then every morning, if you want 7 o'clock, if it's good for you guys, if I need to get up at 5 in the morning so that we can do it at 6 in the morning for you guys, I will. I don't know about Stacia, if that's going to be fun for you. Good God, no. Okay. I will get up at whatever. Later is better. Okay. I'm good at any time. So let me know, but we'll keep it the same time every day if that's possible.
Okay.
Because then it'll literally will create momentum, and then every day will correspond to each month. So we'll just feel in, and we'll just intuitively, each one of us will tap into the energy and we'll just think January at 8 a.m. Perfect. How about 8? Yeah, 8 a.m. is 7 my time. That's perfect. That way I don't have to. 7 is good for you, Stacia?
I've been going to the, well, before my quarantine, I go to the gym at 5:45. So I'm up early.
Okay. So are you, at what time are you back?
I'm usually back home. We're done by 6:30. So,
Oh, so
I'm back
you
home.
could do the meditation at 7?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how about you, Julia? Well, you're gonna have to be home for 10 days. Quarantining, so it may work out. Because I don't know if you know, Sarah, but Dan has COVID and possibly Julia does too now. So, yep. So I don't know, Julia, would 8 o'clock work for you every day? You there? Julie.
She's run off with her SIGIL. She's like, I'm not burning it.
As long as you're home, well, might as well, right? Are you gonna quarantine? You don't know. She is. Don't start. Okay, well, let us know. And we'll plan for now, 8 o'clock your time, 7 o'clock Stacia and I every day on very, very mild symptoms. Yes, but you may still have to quarantine. Yes. And so on the 1st, let me know if 2 o'clock is fine, whenever, let me know. Julia said 1 or 2 is fine for her. So it would be 2 for you guys and 1 for us, Stacia and me. So let me know if that works. If you want later, that's fine. Sounds good to you? Okay, so 2 o'clock on the 1st. Is that good for you too, Stacia? Oh, because you're quarantining too, right? Ay. Okay, January 1st at 2 p.m. Yes, it'll be January 1st at 1 p.m. for us, 2 p.m. for you guys. And yeah, we'll start our 12 days of Christmas on the 1st. All righty, I am excited for what's coming. 8 a.m. after that, exactly. On the 2nd through the 12th, we'll do it at 8 o'clock, which is 7. We'll give Stacia time to come back from the gym. And yeah, it's exciting. I know that this year, well, I know every day, every hour, we can choose heaven and we can choose hell. And I know I've heard from so many people that next year is going to be even more challenging, which we have been just a tad, but we have been connecting to our inner guidance. And I mean, if we look at people around us, I feel like we've sailed through this. Okay, and we had so many good things. So there's no reason why we can't continue to do so and thrive no matter what. And one of the things we need to remove is the guilt of us doing well and other people doing badly, because people love it when people do badly. Okay, people around us, if you're doing great, they get mad. If you're doing badly, they're like, oh, they love that. Okay, but we're going to disconnect from that programming and literally beat our own drum to our own time, to our own abundance, and we're going to create the life that we truly desire, and we're going to just live every moment in gratitude. And this is going to be very, very, very heart opening, and it'll just allow all this magic to flow into our lives like a fire hose. Okay, I love you all, and I'll see you the day after tomorrow. Party, party, party. Bye.